व्रजजनारञ्जना यमुनातीरा वनचारी यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय प्रह्लाद नरसिंह जय प्रह्लाद नरसिंह प्रह्लाद नरसिंह जय प्रह्लाद नरसिंह जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्री राधा गिरधारी श्री राधा माधवाष्टसखी वृंद श्रीमन महाप्रभु की जय। श्री श्री पंचतत्व की जय। श्री प्रह्लाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So reading from first canto, chapter 9, text 15. Yatra dharma-sutaḥ rājā gadā-pāṇir vṛkodaraḥ kṛṣṇah astrī gāṇḍivaṁ cāpam suhṛt kṛṣṇa tataḥ vipat yatra dharma-suto rājā gadā-pāṇir vṛkodaraḥ kṛṣṇo strī gāṇḍivaṁ cāpam suhṛt kṛṣṇas tato vipat yatra dharma-suto rājā gadā-pāṇir vṛkodaraḥ kṛṣṇo strī gāṇḍivaṁ cāpam suhṛt kṛṣṇas tato vipat yatra dharma-suto rājā gadā-pāṇir vṛkodaraḥ kṛṣṇo strī gāṇḍivaṁ cāpam suhṛt kṛṣṇas tato vipat. Yatra dharma-pāṇir vṛkodaraḥ kṛṣṇo strī gāṇḍivaṁ cāpam suhṛt kṛṣṇas tato vipat. Yatra dharma-suto rājā gadā-pāṇir vṛkodaraḥ kṛṣṇo strī gāṇḍivaṁ cāpam suhṛt kṛṣṇas tato vipat. Yatra dharma-suto rājā gadā-pāṇir vṛkodaraḥ kṛṣṇo strī gāṇḍivaṁ cāpam suhṛt kṛṣṇas tato vipat. Yatra, where there is dharma-sutaḥ, the son of Dharmarāja, rājā, the king, gadā-pāṇiḥ, with his mighty club in hand, vṛkodaraḥ, Bhīma, Kṛṣṇa, Arjuna, astrī, carrier of the weapon, gāṇḍivam, gāṇḍīva, cāpam, bow, suhṛt, well-wisher, Kṛṣṇa, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, tataḥ, thereof, vipat, reverse. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Oh, how wonderful is the influence of inevitable time. It is irreversible. Otherwise, how can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhiṣṭhira, the son of the demigod controlling religion? Bhīma, the great fighter with a club, the great bowman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gāṇḍiva, and above all, the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As far as the material or spiritual resources were required, there was no scarcity in the case of the Pandavas. Materially, they were well equipped because two great warriors, namely Bhīma and Arjuna, were there. Spiritually, the king himself was the symbol of religion, and above all of them, the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, was personally concerned with their welfare as the well-wisher. And yet, there were so many reverses on the side of the Pandavas. Despite the power of pious acts, the power of personalities, the power of expert management, and the power of weapons under the direct supervision of Lord Krishna, the Pandavas suffered so many practical reverses, which can only be explained as due to the influence of Kala, inevitable time. Kala is identical with the Lord himself, and therefore the influence of Kala indicates the inexplicable wish of the Lord himself. There is nothing to be lamented when a matter is beyond the control of any human being. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so here we are having the Pandavas talking to Bhishma Dev, one of the 12 Mahajans, right? And Bhishma Dev is about to leave his body, and Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira, he was very sad because of some minor disagreement. They had to have such a big war. They were very, the Pandavas were very, very, how do you say it? Reasonable. So we are Kshatriyas, the sons of a king. Our nature is to administrate. Give us 5 villages, we'll be happy. We don't need anything more. But Duryodhana, he wouldn't give. He said, what? I won't even give a piece of land that can fit on the tip of a needle. Not even that much land I will give. Very arrogant, very proud. If he would have given 5 villages, Pandavas were satisfied. Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira was even satisfied with the kingdom that he got, half of his righteous kingdom. You're supposed to get the whole thing because his father was the king. So by law, by religion, by dharma, he is supposed to become the king of the whole earth. He's supposed to have it. But the attachment and greed of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, they gave him half. Okay, you take half. Pandavas were satisfied. When Narada Muni comes to the palace of Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira, to his assembly hall, which was created by Maya Danava, Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira is asking him, have you seen, you travel all over the world, all over the universe. Have you seen a better assembly hall than this? And Narada Muni, smilingly, he describes all the different assembly halls. Right? How is it in the place of Dharmarāja? How is it in the palace of Indra? How is it of Lord Brahma? And then he describes the duties of a king. And then he said that when he was there in the assembly hall of Dharmarāja, he met Maharaj Pandu. And it was an instruction given by Pandu to Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira that he should perform the rājasuya sacrifice. Because after performing rājasuya sacrifice, Maharaj Pandu would be able to go and sit in the assembly hall of Indra. At the same time, Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira is a capable person to be considered as the emperor of the whole world. And Lord Krishna, when he heard, he said, yes, sure, I will oversee the whole thing. Because Mahabharata explains how there are certain Rakshasas waiting for an opportunity to find one single mistake in the performance of Rājasuya sacrifice, that they can go in and completely destroy the whole sacrifice. One small mistake they look for. Krishna, he said, I will personally oversee it. Right? And for that, they had to go and travel all over, all over the world, defeat all the different kings, make sure that they are paying tribute. And it says Arjuna, he was traveling to the north, and he went so far up north. He went up to the Uttar Kurus. Over there he was stopped, and they said, human beings are not allowed beyond this point. Please, we request you, don't enter this place. He said, okay, I won't. Just pay the tribute to Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira. And they paid him. He says, yes, we accept him as our king. You go back. So Arjuna was able to bring back tax for Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira, even from a place where human beings are not allowed. They can't enter. They have no access to. Such great power. And what opulence. Mahabharata also describes that every king who came to pay tribute to Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira was feeling that Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira is able to perform this whole sacrifice because of me, because of the tax that I am paying. And what does it mean to perform Rājasuya sacrifice? Mahabharata explains that there were sitting arrangements. There were many halls, and there were sitting arrangements for 10,000 Brahmins to eat at a time. And one batch of Brahmins have finished eating, they would blow a conch shell. Okay, we are ready for the next one. Right? And Duryodhana constantly heard conch shells. Constantly. Like non-stop. So you can just imagine how many groups of 10,000 Brahmins were eating at a time. That there were constantly conch shells were being blown. There were, unlimited amount of charity given to the Brahmanas. Unlimited. Duryodhana was made responsible to give written gifts to the kings that came. So he would receive what they gave, and he would give them back. So he knew how much is there in the treasury of Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira. And the reason he was made responsible to give written gifts is because they knew he is so jealous that he would want to give more. So their treasury becomes empty. So that's why he was made to give written gifts. And Mahabharata describes the Duryodhana, having the strength of 10,000 elephants, was so tired of receiving and giving gifts that he had to sit down and rest for some time. And all the kings, the passionate, false ego on the very top level, the kings are peacefully waiting in line for him to recover so that they can give gifts back. What must be the power of Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira? What must be the power of Bhīma and Arjuna? Right? That all these kings are peacefully, humbly, as servants, waiting in line to offer offer their gifts to Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira. Duryodhana, who has the strength of 10,000 elephants, he's saying, just wait, give me some time, I'm tired. His ego was thrashed. Has never seen an opulence like that. even though he was ruling over half of the world. He had not seen an opulence like this. That's why Bhishma Dev is saying, how is it even possible for someone like, of your caliber? Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira, the son of religion personified himself, Arjuna, he was up in the heavenly planets collecting the celestial weapons. And Indra told him, you have to go and fight the Nivat Kavachas. As I, myself, with the whole horde of the demigods, we were not able to defeat these group of demons. You have to go. So he crowned him. He placed a crown on his head, gave his personal chariot, and said, go, alone, single-handedly. Arjuna went and defeated them all. What the whole group of demigods couldn't do, Arjuna single-handedly done it. Not only the Nivat Kavachas, he in fact even defeated all the demigods when they came to protect the Khandava Prastha, to protect Takshaka. He defeated them all. He defeated the whole horde of Gandharvas when they captured Duryodhana and his army. What power! Single-handedly. Single person. Defeated. So very, very powerful personalities. Mahabharata describes when there was in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Bhimsen would love to go to the elephant ranks, where all the elephants are there, trying. And he would grab them by the trunk and throw them high in the sky. And they would go so high that they never fell back down. That means they went beyond the earth's capacity of gravity. Right? They are somewhere flying in the outer space. Such powerful personalities. How is it possible? And on top of that, on top of all this, Krishna is personally taking care of them. Still, how much suffering they went through? In the childhood, Bhīma was poisoned, thrown in Yamuna. When they were, teenagers, it was tried to get them burnt alive. They were, they were put out in the jungles. Then when they came back, became the emperor of half of the world, they were cheated. Their wife was insulted in the open assembly. It was not a family issue. It was out in the open assembly where all the different kings are there. Draupadi was insulted very harshly, the worst insult you can give to a woman. Pandavas were deceitfully thrown out for 12 years of exile. 12 years of exile. And the 13th year, they had to be incognito. Nobody can know who they are, where they are. And if they are found again, they will go for 12 years out in the exile again. So much suffering they went through. So Bhishma Devi says, all this, qualities are there. But still you went through so much problems. That means Krishna wanted you to go through all these. Because he says it's the time, it's the kala. And Srila Prabhupada explains, kala is not different from Krishna. Krishna wanted them to go through all these. As devotees who are willing to go back home, back to Godhead, we should not expect that our life will be very, very peaceful. Very, very easy going. Why? Because just we are servants of Krishna. No. If you're willing to go back home, back to Godhead at the end of this lifetime, there will be a lot of suffering. The more dedicated you are to Krishna, the more suffering you will go through. Why? Because Maya Devi wants to make sure that you are going back home, back to Godhead, not as a, some ordinary person. She is going to make sure we don't go and disturb the eternal pastimes of the Lord by our anarthas. She is going to make sure she does her duty well. We go back with proper consciousness. We see the pastime of Gopakumar. He goes through so much and he's constantly chanting. Right? He's constantly chanting the Gopal mantra given by his guru. And he's going through the different opulences and opulences because he's inspired by opulence. He's saying, oh, you serve Krishna so nicely. He says, oh, I'm nothing. You go to Mathura, you see how he is doing. When he goes to Mathura, he says, I'm nothing. You go to Dwarka, see how he is doing. He goes to Dwarka, says, oh, go see in the heavenly planets. Go up to Brahmaloka. Go, beyond the universes. Enters Brahmajyoti. Lord Shiva says, this is not a place for you. You're Gopakumara. Go beyond. Enters Vaikuntha. He says, no, go to Dwarka. He goes to Dwarka. Uddhava says, not a good place. This is not your place. Your place is in Vrindavan. And when he goes to Vrindavan, what does he do? Immediately Krishna grabs and embraces him. He says, I have been waiting for you. Where were you? Where were you? I have been waiting for you. And Krishna faints. Right? And then everybody thinks, oh, he must be a demon sent by sent by Kamsa. But Lord Balaram knows, no, that's not him. So he places the Gopakumara's hand in Krishna's hand. Krishna comes back to consciousness, embraces him again. So that's what's waiting for all the living entities, for all of us. Especially us, the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because we are the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Our goal is to go back to Goloka Vrindavan. Not Vaikuntha, where the opulence is so high and Krishna is worshipped as God. No, Mahaprabhu is teaching us, our goal is to go to Goloka Vrindavan, where Krishna is one of us. So there has to be no situation that we take Krishna cheaply. I was reading a quote from Srila Prabhupada yesterday. And it says, Srila Prabhupada says, in position, all the gopis and Srimati Radharani are equal. But all the gopis know it, that Srimati Radharani loves Krishna the most. And she can serve Krishna the most in the best way possible. That's why they are finding ways how to get Radha and Krishna together, so that they can serve Krishna and Srimati Radharani. And Srila Prabhupada says, that is Vaikuntha mentality. There is no place for envy. There's no place for envy. Jealousy, yes. Sometimes they are jealous of each other. But jealousy means you see something and you want to be like that. Your friend, your neighbor got a nice car. You're jealous of his car, but you want to get a car like that. Envy is like Duryodhana. Karna went and, when Pandavas were out in the forest, Karna went and defeated all the kings of the world. Karna did that for Duryodhana. But no, Duryodhana wanted what Pandavas had. He didn't want something like they had. No, he wanted what they had. So he should have it, they should not have it. That's envy. And Srila Prabhupada describes envy is one quality which cannot be engaged in Krishna's service. Everything else you can engage in Krishna's service, but envy you cannot. So from this particular verse, we can learn. Pandavas, doesn't matter what they went through. Doesn't matter what they went through. They always and always and always wanted to serve Krishna. They always thought how we can be in touch with Krishna. The nice pastime comes as Draupadi Devi, after she's insulted by the Kauravas. When Krishna comes to meet her, she's saying, Krishna, why did you take so long to protect me? Why did you take so long? And Krishna said, Krishna starts joking with her. He says, how did you call me? She says, I said, Shankha Chakra gadā-pāṇir dvārika nilayachyuta. Oh Lord Achyuta, residing in Dwaraka, holding Shankha Chakra Gada and Padma. Please protect me. He says, yes. He says, I was right there. You said I'm situated in Dwaraka. So I had to go back and come back from Dwaraka. So that traveling took some time, that's why I was delayed to come to protect you. Because next time something goes wrong, don't make the same mistake. Okay. Draupadi is saying, when Durvasa Muni comes with 10,000 disciples, we are hungry Brahmins. And Draupadi is already finished eating. The pots are all washed. The pot will not generate any more food. What to do? So that time she says, Hridaya Kamalavacha Janardana, oh Lord Janardana residing in my heart, please come protect me. And Krishna from behind says, hey, you called me? He says, oh, you came? When did you come? He says, just now you called me. Last time you said I'm situated in Dwaraka, so it took time. Now you said I'm situated in your heart. So if I come out like that, you will get scared. So that's why I'm telling you from behind. Because what's the problem? Oh, this 10,000 Brahmins came, with Durvasa Muni. We have no food to feed them. They went to take bath. They are all hungry. Krishna says, there is something left. He says, no, all the pots are washed. Krishna says, I know how you wash pots. Yudhiṣṭhira thinks you clean pots very nicely. I know. Bring me the pot. Because I am the pot. I am the water that you use for washing the pot. And I am that particle of food that is still sitting there. Takes, he says, Sri Kṛṣṇa Arpanamastu, eats it. Oh, satisfied. Durvasa Muni sitting with all these 10,000 disciples, all like burping. What happened? He says, Gurudev, generally after taking a bath or after taking a swim, we get more hungry. Here it went complete opposite. What happened? We are all so full. Durvasa Muni says, same situation here. I don't know what to do. Let's move out of this place before they come to, invite us for prasad. Because if they come, we are bound to go. But there is no space. So let's go away before they come. Right? So Krishna is the one who puts us in trouble in the form of time. But Krishna is also the person who pulls us out of the situation when we are fully surrendered unto Him. When Krishna feels like, okay, I want to fight. It's been a long time I didn't, wrestle. What does He do? He sends His doorkeepers, hey, Jai Vijay, go become some demons. Otherwise, why would Jai Vijay stop the 4 Kumaras? No, that's Krishna's idea. He wants to play. He wants to fight. He wants to fill the chivalry. So he tells his devotees, okay, you go. When Krishna wants to feel, relationship differently, he wants to feel fatherly affection. He has a relationship with Prahlad Maharaj. What we see. Everybody says Narasimhadev is so terrifying, so angry, so this, so that. No. He's the most beloved father. The topmost level of Vatsalya. He couldn't tolerate what Hiranyakashipu was doing to Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah? So that's why he comes in that form. It tears open through the pillar. Prahlad Maharaj is asking, why did you come from the pillar? Why did you appear from the pillar? You could come, walk from the door. Why you appeared from the pillar? Narasimhadev says, because you said I am in the pillar. And what is he doing? He's in the form of a lion. What does he do? He starts licking Prahlad Maharaj. He's showing his affection. He's hugging him. He's licking him. He done all those things for Prahlad Maharaj. So that's Krishna wanting to reciprocate with his dear devotees. And the more we are dedicated to him, the more he wants to relish the affection with us. And depending on how we want. What is our mood? Bhishma Dev wants to, he's a fighter. He wants to fight. Krishna said, I will not pick up the weapons. Bhishma Dev said, I will make sure you pick up weapons. Right? So that's why he's shooting. And it says he shot Lord Krishna himself. And some blood starts pouring out. Arjuna gets angry, pulls out the arrows from Krishna's body, starts fighting even strongly with Bhishma Dev. And Bhishma Dev is fighting even more strongly, and so strongly that Krishna felt, if I don't intervene, he will kill Arjuna. Krishna stood up, picked up the wheel of a chariot. Bhishma Dev said, come my lord, I'm ready to die. I just wanted to break your vow. I just wanted to show that you can break your own vow to protect your devotees. You don't care for your own self. Yeah, this is how much you love your devotees. Done. I'm ready to die. Drops his weapons. And Bhishma Dev says, this picture of Krishna holding the wheel over his head, coming to kill me, is the favorite picture of my life. I constantly want to meditate on that form of Krishna. Why? Because he's a Kshatriya. He likes that one. That's why Krishna picked up the wheel, And when the picture is drawn, Srila Prabhupada says, the title of that picture is Krishna pleases Bhishma. Right? The picture, underneath the picture, it says Krishna pleases Bhishma. So beautiful. So that's the relationship Krishna is constantly having with the Vaishnavas. He put them in all these difficulties, but he is constantly there. That's why Kunti Devi is saying, now you are going. In the previous chapter, she says, now everything is set so nice. We are again the emperor of the universe, of the world. But what's the use? You are leaving. You are going. What's the benefit? Give it back. Again, everything. From the beginning. Start it all again. Now. Why? So we will have you. You constantly thinking about us. Give it back. It doesn't matter what situation is. You are with us, everything is fine. Everything is okay. Everything is perfect. Why? Because we have you. So Krishna, if he just gives us all good, all pleasure, will we always remember him? We will not. Maybe unwillingly, but Krishna puts us in all these difficulties. And why is there it in here in Srimad Bhagavatam? We will never go through situations like how the Pandavas went through. Never in our life. So much problems, never. So that means even if these people went through so much and still were remaining Krishna conscious, we can easily be Krishna conscious. We should not complain, why Krishna is doing so much to me? Does Krishna even actually exist? Is there anything good in this? No, forget that. Krishna is constantly there with us, constantly. Every situation. Think about Krishna. That's why Prahlad Maharaj says, always remember Krishna. Never forget him. Both. You have to do both. You have to always constantly remember Him and also never forget Him. It's double protection. Right? So that is showing, our the mood that we should be following. That's what we can learn from this particular verse. Because if Krishna in the form of Kala is putting us in all this trouble, Krishna himself by his presence is delivering us from all these troubles. You dedicate to Sri Sri Radha Madhava, he's always there. We will all feel it. We involve Krishna in our day-to-day life, Krishna is present. You will see, you will feel, you will realize. And like that, it becomes easier to go back home, back to garden and serve Krishna there. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any comments or questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the class. Prabhu is asking that from Bhagavad Gita, we know that there is one specific time when the person leaves the body, it affects where he goes. But Prabhupada, and also I think Krishna said that it doesn't apply to the pure devotees. And we know that Bhishmadev is the pure devotee, why he was waiting for this specific time, why he was trying to follow these kind of rules. Yeah, because he was a pure devotee and it shouldn't affect him, so...
Yeah, Bhishmadev asks this question to Lord Krishna. Saying with the karma, he's saying, I can remember 100 lifetimes. His own 100 lifetimes he can remember. Bhishmadev. He says, but I don't see any karma that I have performed to give me the reaction of lying down in the bed of arrows. Why am I lying down on the bed of arrows? Bhishmadev himself actually mentioned that because he was bound by his vow to make sure that the throne of Hastinapura is in right hands. So he was waiting for Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira to become the king of Hastinapura. That's one. He was waiting. Second, when he lied down on the bed of arrows, all these great rishis, they came and said that generally pious people leave their body in Uttarayana, in the half year where the sun is traveling towards north. But right now is the time when the sun is traveling towards south. Why is it that this great personality is leaving his body now? Bhishmadev said, okay, I'll not die till the sun enters again, starts traveling towards north. He knows Krishna will come. He has to wait for that time when he's there in front of Krishna. Right? So when Krishna is there, he's asking, I don't remember in 100 lifetimes I've committed a sin to lie down on this bed of arrows. Krishna says, well, 101 lifetimes ago, this 101 lifetimes ago, you were a king, came back victorious from a battle, and all the soldiers are so happy, they are running back to home. It says the horses run faster on their way back home, right? So they are all running back, excited to meet their family. And there was a snake on the road. You are the king in the front of your army. You are thinking, the snake won't cross the road in time, and my super excited army will just crush it to death. So using a spear, you picked up the snake and tossed it off the road. But you didn't care to see where the snake fell. The snake fell on a thorny bush. And because it's a snake, it's trying to move out, doesn't have hands. The more it tried to move away, the more thorns just kept on piercing in its body, and it died like that. So that karma you're getting now. Bhishma Dev said, okay, very good. What about the point? Now it's Bhishma Dev, right? He studied under Brihaspati. He's one of the 12 Mahajans. He knows Shastra in and out. He says, what about the point that all the karmic reactions are gone when somebody surrenders to you? I'm surrendered to you. His name comes under one of the 12 Mahajans out of, hundreds and millions and, billions of devotees. The 12, he's one of them. He says, what about that? Krishna says, how dare you pick up their weapons against my devotees, the Pandavas? How dare you do that? That's why I am giving you the karma of that 101 lifetimes ago. You lie down on a bed of arrows. You dare to pick up weapons against my devotees, the Pandavas. Bhishma Dev says, okay, fine. What about the point that every arrow that came out of my bow, I said, Vijayastu Pandaputranam, let there be victory for the Pandavas by this arrow of mine. What about that fact? Every arrow I shot, and Bhishma Dev, he's not a small timer. He's on the level of Arjuna. And for Arjuna it says, nobody understood when he picked up, when the hand moved out in a circle, pulled out the arrow from the quiver, put it on the string of the bow, released it. The arrows that he was so fast at it, that the end of the arrow, the feathers in the arrow, and the tip of the arrow was touching each other. That's his speed. Bhishma Dev is on that level. And he said, every arrow I shot, I said, let there be victory to the Pandavas. What about that fact? Am I actually against the Pandavas? And Krishna says, that's why I'm standing in front of you when you are about to die. I'm here. And say another thing, do you feel the pain? Mahabharata mentions there was no 2-finger space between each arrow. You can't place 2 fingers between the 2 arrows. You can imagine how many arrows must have been in his body. But still Krishna says, do you feel the pain? That's the glory of devotional service. I'm standing in front of you when you are about to die. Bhishma Dev says, accept it. This is the moment when I should leave my body. You are in front of me. That's why Bhishma Dev waited. Is that okay, Prabhu? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, just like you mentioned, when Draupadi called second time when Durvasa Muni came, that the Lord who is residing in my heart, may he come to protect me. I have just read that Srila Prabhupada says that sometimes devotees become attracted towards one particular form of the Lord. So let's say prima facie, if somebody is attracted towards the form of the Radha Madhav, let's say, so can he pray like that in his day-to-day life, like Radha Madhav is residing in the heart, and whenever there is a trouble, because generally in the heart it is said that Janardhan resides. So will such a prayer will be like, I mean, technically correct? Or of course Krishna sees the feelings, Krishna doesn't see the technical correction and the grammar of the prayer, but can it be like technically okay or correct to say that Radha Madhavu is residing in our hearts, like in that way?
See, technically there is no difference between Lord Ramachandra and Krishna, right? But Mahaprabhu, he told Murari Gupta, he said, worship Krishna. He's Purana Purushottam. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas Ramachandra is Maryada Purushottam. There are limitations in the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. Krishna is unlimited. Worship him. Murari Gupta Prabhu said, yeah, sure. Came back next day. He said, give me your blessings. I want to commit suicide. Why? He says, you ordered me to serve Krishna, but I can't think of anybody other than Lord Ram. And I am not able to fulfill your orders. What's the use of my life? Let me just die. What does Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said? No. I just wanted everybody to know what a great devotee you are to Lord Ramachandra, because you are Hanuman. You can't think of anybody other than Lord Ramachandra. When Krishna, he called Hanuman to Ayodhya, to Dwaraka, to crush down the ego of Garuda Dev, Sudarshana and Satyabhama Devi. He sent Garuda Dev saying, tell him Krishna is calling you. Hanuman is like, who? He says, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, tell him, sorry, I'm worshipping Lord Ram. I can't come. Garuda Dev comes back. Tell him Lord Ram is calling you in Dwaraka. So Garuda Dev goes, comes back. Hey, Lord Ram is calling you in Dwaraka. Boom, gone. Hey, where is he? He's already in Dwaraka, visiting Lord Ram. Why? Because he's attached to the form of Lord Ram. So, Paramatma is residing in the heart. He's called Janardana. That's okay. But my mind is attached to this particular form of the Lord. Krishna reciprocates in that form. So it's perfectly fine to say, oh, Shri Shri Radha Madhava in my heart, please help me in this situation. It's perfectly fine. Any other comment or question? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, why Maharaj Pandu has to go to Yamloka?
Yamloka, there is Mahabharata mentions there is a triangular connection between Yamapuri, means Yamaraja's abode, hellish planetary system, and Pitriloka, where all the forefathers reside. There is a triangular connection between the three. So anybody who leaves their body first goes to the abode of Yamaraj. In his palace, they are judged, either hell or heaven, and depending on that, then they either go to the hellish planetary system or they go to the Pitriloka, to the heavenly planetary system. Pitriloka is part of heavenly planetary system, but it's not Swarga. It's not Indra's opulence. So, even among the heavenly planetary system, there are varieties. So depending on your karma, you go to different places. So if you want to go to the Indra's place, you need a certain qualification. So that's why he was there. He's allowed to come and sit in Yamaraja's assembly hall. He wants to go and sit in Indra's assembly hall. So he's not suffering in the hellish planets. He's there in the assembly hall. He's enjoying the heavenly realm over there. So that's why he's there. Anything else? No? Okay. So we'll end here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री राधा माधवाष्ट सखी वृंद श्रीमन महाप्रभु की जय। श्री श्री पंचतत्व की जय। श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।